off. Okay. First, a few notes on the agenda and some housekeeping. So, today we're going to start off by setting the stage for the creation of the FSC Brand Hub, which is our focus of our webinar today. We're going to move into a little bit about the tool itself and we'll highlight some of the key features. I will be doing a live walkthrough of some demos in the Brand Hub for you to see. Then you'll get information on how to access the Brand Hub if you have not already, and we'll end with an opportunity to ask questions. So you can go ahead and hold all your questions until the end if you prefer, or you can submit them in the chat. Like I said, we'll have a session at the end where you can raise your hand and ask any questions. Additionally, during the live walkthrough, you can feel free to raise your hand if you have questions as we're going through any of that, and ask your questions as well. I want that section to be as interactive as possible. So the goal of this webinar is to give you an overview of this tool and to give you plenty of time to ask questions, like I said. So I only have about 25 minutes of content, so we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. And if you attended the webinar hosted by FSC International back in early April, or the webinar that we hosted back in May on the Brand Hub, a lot of this information is going to be familiar. But now that this tool has been around for a while, we wanted to make sure that we brought this up again for anybody who was not able to attend or just wants a refresher on some of the main pieces of this new tool. So let's set the stage a little bit for the Brand Hub. The Brand Hub aims to streamline your communication efforts by utilizing technology. The Brand Hub provides you with tools to simplify the process of communicating about FSC, whether it be through the easy-to-use label generator, customizable assets for social media, in-store signage, and more, or global campaigns. It's a tool that enhances the value of FSC by making it easier, faster, and more impactful to use the FSC brand in labeling and promotion. By providing assets and guidelines to help your communication efforts, this tool helps ensure credibility and consistency. The FSC Brand Hub ensures that our license holders have the tools they need to confidently showcase their commitment, helping to build trust, drive demand, and ultimately create lasting impact for forests. So let's get into what this solution is, the Brand Hub. The Brand Hub combines two existing platforms, the Trademark Portal and the Marketing Toolkit. While these tools previously provided stakeholders with access to the FSC trademarks and assets, many of you likely experienced the limitation of these tools. So, to overcome these challenges, FSC embarked on a journey to harness key technologies, incorporate stakeholder feedback, and develop a new tool that's dynamic and engaging, as well as audience-centric, and a place to find curated designs and assets that are suited to your needs, all on a platform that is easy to navigate. To create the platform you'll see today, FSC focused on understanding what stakeholders truly need. We conducted interactive focus groups and in-depth interviews, engaging with a diverse range of stakeholders, including certification bodies, license holders, and other key stakeholders throughout the process. Additionally, we performed a competitive analysis and a technology audit to ensure the new tool meets high standards in usability and efficiency. And this was all achieved while keeping the user experience at the heart of our work. It was important to keep in mind the various users of this platform, from certificate holders, project certificate holders, and promotional license holders like yourselves to certification bodies and local FSC offices and admin. The new Brand Hub incorporates four sections. We have the trademark designs, assets, campaigns, and guidelines. The trademark design section consists of the label generator, which is only accessible to certificate holders, and the promotional design generator, which is accessible to all users. The Brand Hub also includes a campaigns page where you can access various global campaigns like FSC Forest Week. And there are also customizable assets, guidelines, and new functions such as notifications, bookmarks, and more, which we will get into a little bit more in our live walkthrough. So there are different assets tailored to various audiences, like forest management certificate holders, chain of custody certificate holders, and promotional license holders. You can see some examples here of what those can look like, from forest signs to social media assets and various in-store signage as well. And here are just a few more examples for project certificate holders and building signage to general assets that all license holders can use. Okay, so now that you've seen a little bit about what this tool is, what it looks like, how it was created, let's get into it in action. So I will be walking you through a few key features, but this is just meant to be a high-level overview of some of the tools that you can find within the Brand Hub. We highly encourage you to get logged in and play around with this tool yourself. There are a lot of features, and we're just going to be kind of scratching the surface with this walkthrough. So we will be walking through the label generator, the logo generator, a few customizable assets, as well as the campaigns page and guidelines. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for a moment and get it up and running. Okay, and then hopefully you're seeing what the labeling looks like.
Yep, all good.
Okay, you're seeing it?
Yep,
Okay,
yeah,
perfect. Thanks.
good.
Okay, so you can see here, we'll go to this is the home page as you saw. Once you get logged in, this is where you'll be. I'm going to start off this walkthrough in the certificate holder function. Obviously, when you log in, you will not have access to various user roles like I do, but this is a great way to kind of show the difference between promotional license holders and certificate holders. So to access the label generator, you're going to find it under this trademark designs and you're going to go to label your product. So there are two versions of this tool that we will go through. The first being just this quick generator, and then we have a step-by-step generator as well. That is a super helpful tool that we'll walk through in a second. So on this quick generator, if you're familiar with labeling, this is probably the version you're going to want to use. It's pretty quick and easy. So you'll just go through on this left-hand side and select these various required elements. So depending on the claim that you're working with, you would make that selection. If there's any percentage of recycled input you want to include, you can do that with the Mobius loop. You would include your product type. And the trademark symbol selection has a new update that's really helpful. So you can, and this is referring to that TM or Circle R registration mark. You can either select manually. So you would just make your selection manually if you are familiar with which one you should be using. However, if you are unfamiliar, because different countries have different levels of trademark registration, you can use this automatic version, which allows you to then select your countries of distribution and that will automatically select the trademark registration mark that should be used. So if you're in the United States, it'll update to the Circle R. So that is a helpful update. And this language is another helpful update, especially if you are operating in or selling into Canada, for example, where multiple languages are required to be on products because of legal requirements. You can now select I believe it's up to 4 languages to include on your label. And as you're making these selections, you will see the preview being generated here. Obviously, if you're a certificate holder, your code would appear here, but this is just an example for our usage. And then you can select your orientation and your color. Now on this side, you can see these mandatory label elements. You are not able to change, of course, but you can make adjustments to these two pieces. And then you can go ahead and download whichever version you would like. And a super helpful new feature too is this bookmark button. So if you are creating a label that you use often in your work, you can go ahead and bookmark it. So you can easily come back to it with all of your selections made. So you don't have to go through and make these selections over and over again. Quickly now we'll go into what the step-by-step generator looks like. Again, this is helpful if you are not as familiar with label generation. What this does is it walks you through exactly just what we went through, but it gives you a little bit more information around each piece that you need to be selecting. So as you're going through, it'll give you a little bit of information about each of these items. You're making your selections as you go. And then same thing at the end, you will have the opportunity to download this version. So That is the label generator. And now quickly, let's go into the logo generator. It looks very similar to the label generator. The formatting is pretty much the same. Again, you can find the step-by-step generator down here. Um, One thing to note with this is I'm going to be walking through this Forest for All Forever version. Later in this webinar, we'll be noting some trademark changes that will be coming out. One of those being the retirement of this Forest for All Forever mark. So just take a note with that. It is now still available, but it will be retired with the new trademark standard being released next year. So for now, though, we can walk through this very similar. You can choose if you want the animals or just the regular text, the language. Again, you can choose automatic or manual for your trademark symbol. Same thing for the initials in your license code, and then the color. And again, over here, these items cannot be changed, but you can include or not include the web address and download. Same thing you can bookmark here. So again, step-by-step version is down here, and it would walk you through all of these in a little bit more detail. And the FSC logo one is exactly the same, just the FSC logo without the Forest for All Forever. And then if you want to access these standalone trademarks, meaning just these logo files, you can do that here, either the check with tree or the Forest for All Forever mark. And again, a few different selections here. So these are the, oh, this is a good question. I'm just checking the chat as we go too. Perfect. And Kate is answering these as we go. So, yep, we'll hit on that, I think, once we get to some of the other kind of bookmark and notification pieces at the end of this. So, those are sort of the logo label generator tools to use. Again, this is the view of the certificate holder. So, promotional license holders would have access to these three items, but obviously not the label generator because they are not able to label products. Jumping into the assets, I'm going to stay in the certificate holder view right now, and then I'll switch after we go through one of these assets. So this is where you can find a variety of pre-made and customizable assets. There's imagery you can use, and things that can be downloaded on this page. You can toggle, various versions here. So we'll go to the customizable assets. And one thing that I wanted to quickly show you a forest sign one. Yep, here we go. So if we open this up, this is a really cool asset that I think will make lives easier for everybody if you want to have a sign in your FSC certified forest. This makes it super easy. You can go through and you can select the theme that you would like. Again, the logo that you want. I would recommend using this one since the Forest for All Forever will be retired next year. Your language, your trademark symbol. I would guess most people in this room would be doing the United States. And then you can go ahead and download either a PDF, a JPEG, or a PNG version. And then this could be sent off to be printed and hung in your FSC certified forest. So that's an example of a tool, or excuse me, an asset that can be customized for your use. And now I'm going to switch us to a promotional license holder view and get back into the assets to show you. They'll see slightly different assets here. Obviously, there's not going to be forest signs or factory in-store signs, or excuse me, yeah, in factory signs, but there are a variety of other customizable assets. And again, as I mentioned, the label generator is not accessible for promotional license holders. I wanted to walk us through one of these social media assets as well. So what's cool about this is, again, you can select the theme, the logo. You can also select the social media channel, and it will automatically resize the design, which is super helpful. And then another cool feature of this is you can upload your own image to this. So you can highlight your specific product as part of this social media post. Again, trademark symbol generation is there, and your license code, as with the forest sign, is automatically included, which is super helpful. If you've attended any of our previous trademark webinars, you know that forgetting to include your license code is oftentimes a mistake that companies make. So having that automatically included is super helpful for these assets. And again, you can download there. Okay, I'm gonna just pause quick and see if we've got any Seeming like we're getting questions answered here. Okay, wonderful. Let's continue on then. So, getting into the campaigns page, you'll see here there's just one campaign listed here, and it's a past one for Forest Week 2025. You'll see for 2026, information on Forest Week will appear here on that campaigns page, and you'll be able to register and access all of the assets for that campaign from this page. If you did participate in Forest Week this year, you're familiar with how that works, but this is a great kind of streamlined way to be involved with Forest Week. If you've been involved in the past, you know that assets were being sent with links and things like that. And this is just a lot more streamlined. You can access all of them within this brand hub in one place. So definitely keep an eye out for information on further campaigns in the future and Forest Week 2026 in particular. Now we'll hit the guidelines page. So right now, again, I'm in the promotional license holder view, so it's going to look slightly different if you're a certificate holder, but this is a great page to reference back to for various resources. So not only do you have video tutorials on how to use the brand hub, but you also have access to the trademark use guide for promotional license holders, and the trademark registration list and information on using Forest for All Forever. So all of these resources are easy to find in this guidelines page. If you're a certificate holder, you'll have a few more resources here, including the trademark standard and things like that. So this is a great place to reference back to if you're ever looking for any of these resources. And just wrapping up, so if you go, as I think Kate answered this in the chat, but just to reiterate that question, so where you find your bookmarks would be just under this little profile button, and you can click your bookmarks here. I don't think I have any, oh, I have a couple bookmarks saved, so you can see you'd be able to find those here. And then one other thing that I want to highlight is under your settings page, you can toggle the notifications that you receive. So this tool, everything we've walked through is available right now, but this is meant to be sort of an evergreen tool, meaning there's going to be constant updates and new assets being added and things like that. So to stay on top of that, you can choose to have your notifications turned on, and you can kind of adjust what those look like here. And you can also filter what you want to be notified on under these preferences as well. There's also a support page where you have easy um, buttons to contact support depending on what issue you're having. And then there's also this chat function here that can help with some general questions, FAQs, things like that. So those are both great resources as well. Okay, so that is our walkthrough. I'm going to head back to this and hopefully you're seeing the presentation again.
Yep.
Um, Wonderful. So that's the walkthrough. So as I mentioned, this is meant to be an evergreen tool where there are going to be updates and improvements. There are already things being worked on kind of behind the scenes. So if you are playing around with this and you have ideas or suggestions or comments on what you would like to see as part of the Brand Hub, please feel free to let us know. We're always trying to improve it and add more tools and materials that are going to make your lives easier as license holders. So that is the walkthrough of that. So getting started, how can you get started using this new platform? As I mentioned, you should all have access to the Brand Hub at this point. So if you have a Connect account with FSC, you can log in with that existing account information. So when you go to the Brand Hub and sign in, it will redirect you to these FSC Connect page where you can log in with your existing account. If you're having issues logging in, or if you're not sure you have access, if you're a promotional license holder, you can contact Kate and myself via our trademarks email, which is listed here, trademarks@us.fsc.org. And if you're a certificate holder, you can reach out to your certification body. Uh, Companies can have multiple representatives have access to the Brand Hub now. So if you are your main representative for your company, but you would like to add, somebody from your marketing team or something like that, you can reach out to us or your certification body if you're a certificate holder, and they should be able to help get that additional person access as well. And then we have our tech support listed here too. If you're having technical issues with your Connect account, for example, you can reach out to connect@fsc.org and they can help with any technical issues you may be having. And finally, before we get into Q&A, I did just want to, I mentioned this earlier, but just wanted to reiterate, we have a couple of upcoming trademark changes. There was communication sent out about this a couple of weeks ago, so you should have seen this, but in case you are unfamiliar, there are two changes that will be coming. The Forest for All Forever brand mark will be phased out for all license holders, like I mentioned, and the promotional panel design, as you can see here, will also be removed for promotional license holders. So this is mainly to reinforce confidence in the global credibility of FSC, as well as support FSC license holders in navigating emerging global anti-greenwashing legislation that's coming out. So these two changes are really kind of in line with those different changes coming globally when it comes to anti-greenwashing and things like that. So those are changes coming. If you have any questions on those, please let us know and we can get you more information on those changes. But like I said, this will be kind of going in conjunction with the new trademark standard, and there'll be plenty of communication going out about this when those changes are going into effect. And